Now, once we come to know Jesus, I call it the big yes. It's the big yes. But after that, there's a lot of little uh-huhs, right? Where we got to keep not building our cistern and trusting in the fountain of living water. We got to keep coming to him, because otherwise we find ourselves at the door of the fridge looking for something to quench the spiritual thirst. Find ourselves with a remote in our hand. Flip, 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 flip. The worst for me lately is that phone. I mean, who needs to check their email 100 times a day? But don't you just find your hand just goes to it? Or maybe it's social media for you, that you're scrolling, because there's this ache inside. And we're looking to all these substitutes, all these counterfeits. Now, we may not be doing what the women of Judah did. They set up little statues in their home from foreign gods. I can kind of see them sitting at the well. That was their social time in the morning and the evening, and sitting around and saying, you know, our God was really powerful back in the days of Solomon and David. But lately, seems like Assyria and Babylon and Egypt, man, they're kicking some tail out there in the global scene. So how could it hurt to maybe set up one of their little statues in our house and pour out a drink, an offering to the Queen of Heaven? They even got to the point where they offered their children in the fire to Molech, a foreign god. Now, they're still going through the spiritual motions. They're still going to the temple. They're still offering the sacrifices. Can't you see them using their logic to justify something that God has absolutely said not to do? We do it. We logically make what makes sense to us, and all of a sudden we can excuse our own idolatry. Because while we may not have statues, and while we may not be offering our children, we have a much more subtle relationship with idolatry.